Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're actually inside the house today because I've got a project for you. Bought a Mossberg Patriot 243 Winchester for my son so he could deer hunt this year, and we needed to get a sling. So what did I do? I went and looked for the sling that I like to see if we could get that on his. And let me show you here what we got. So this is mine off my rifle, and this is the one we bought. I like this sling. The only problem is, if you notice, the straps are much longer and there are no rings on there, swivels. So I've got some swivels, but apparently what you need to do is you need to figure out how to get these swivels on here. So we're going to be doing a little sewing. And if you didn't know, real men actually do sew. So I can prove it to you. I can show you my hunting coat. Let's do that real quick. Alright, so I've got my hunting coat on. And if you notice, I actually can sew. This is an inside the waistband holster. I believe it's an Uncle Mike's. And then I took a strap off and the thumb brake off of a different holster so I can carry my Glock in the woods. So now that you know that real men can sew, so can you, and let's get to it. Okay, so what I did was, there was this guy in here strapped in there, and then this guy was in right there. I took those off because I don't think we're going to need them. And then what I plan to do is I'm going to thread this on, so this one sits right here, and we're going to fold it over, and then I'm going to sew a line along here and a line along here so it doesn't drive them nuts, and then I'm going to trim this piece off. And then for this piece, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a razor blade and we're going to cut the threads out on this and open it up, put this through, and then sew a line back through there. So that's kind of the plan. That's what I think is going to work the best. The situation, we tried out the rifle sling. It fits him perfectly the way that mine's dimensioned out, so we're going to set it up that way, and I hope it works awesome. So let's do it. Okay, I'm not a seamstress, but I do know enough, and there's some awesome people on YouTube to kind of help you out with this. But basically the first thing you're going to want to do is cut a length of thread, or try to. There we go. And then we're going to struggle. I always use a really large headed needle because I can never seem to get the thread through. We'll see how this goes. Alright, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to even these out, and then we're going to tie a little knot. And I usually just do like, you're tying your shoe, and whether that's the right way to do it or not, I don't know, but you need a knot. Okay, so we've got a knot. And I think the key, what you don't want is you don't want your knot to pull through the fabric. So I think choice of fabric is probably relevant, and you notice that this stuff that I'm using is way smaller than what they stitched with. So I'm going to have that problem, so we're going to need to figure out how to, we're just probably going to loop through and stitch in. I'll show you in a sec here, but basically we don't want the knot to pull through, so I'll probably do another one here. Okay. Alright, and just for fun, I'm going to trim some of this off because it's going to be annoying to try and, well, maybe it won't, but make sure that you put your ring on first, because otherwise if you sew all this, well, good luck to you. Alright, so like I said, I'm not a seamstress, but I think what we're going to want to do here is just find our line, and I'm going to use this D-ring as a gauge, and I'm going to pick a row, and I'm going to use this row. So we're going to go grab some thread through here, and just for fun, because of this knot Where's the knot? I'm going to go through this hole and hopefully it helps anchor it. And we'll trim all this off when we're done. But basically, I think it's called a back stitch. We're basically going to go, I'm going to line up these on both sides, but we're just basically going to come in front of this one. Actually, I don't know what it's called, but this is the way I'm going to do it. You're going to go in through like this. And then I'm going to pick up the other side. Just behind it. Again, we're trying to be cognizant of where we're stitching, so and this big needle head is, yes, it does cause some problems, but we're gonna make do. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going back and forth through here, and I'm going to try and loop through the stitch just to kind of help lock it in place. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but let me do that. I'm going to turn the camera off because this is awkward. I'm going to stitch all this line and then kind of come back and explain to you if it works or not. If you're going to search for stuff online on how to sew, I would look for any type of strong stitch. And I am not a seamstress, so make sure you're going and watching seamstress videos, because those ladies, they really know what they're talking about. Okay, what I wanted to kind of show you was when you're coming back from the bottom, and I don't know if this is going to make much of a difference or not, so take it with a grain of salt and go watch some videos like I said, but what I'm doing is I'm coming up through these stitches to hopefully maybe lock them in place a little bit better like that. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference, but basically I'm just going a nub in, down, pull her tight, and then we're gonna, if you can, get into some of them stitches. If not, when we come back up, seeing if we can split the thread and get in between there, and then go to the next nub. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and it feels strong. It may not be perfectly pretty like some of you folks that really know how to sew, but I'm looking for functionality, not beauty at this point. So okay, like I said, I'm not going for beauty here, but I'm going for functionality, and I think we're getting pretty good. So the distance is pretty good, so I think to finish this off, all I really need to do is just come in here and pick up some thread, and then, oh, well, I was trying to pass the needle back through that, so let's try this again. So we're going through like a knot. And I think that's how you finish them off. We'll just go one more time just for fun. It's been like, I don't know, 8 years since I've done this. Maybe longer. Okay. So we should be good there. We'll, yeah, that looks great. And I think before I cut this, I'm going to stitch this side to here, and then I'll cut this piece off. because I want it to look somewhat nice. So let me go do that, and then we'll tackle the back side, or the bottom side. Okay, so I got this double stitched on this side, and this one's nice and happy. I gotta cut that off, little trimming, and I got into the neoprene a little bit, which I was trying to avoid that, but well, shit happens, or well, stuff happens, I should say. And then this is like I don't know, I think if I take like a lighter and I burn this, it'll shrink down and won't fray as much. So let's try that. Really, I'm just trying to get these to not fray. Oh, I think that worked out mint. Awesome. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next one. So basically for the back one, I'm just going to do the same thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these threads like this and see if I can get a razor blade in there. I don't know, I'm getting old, so it's hard to see. But ideally, I think what you want to do is you want to take like a hook with and then, you know, hook it and then pull the thread and then rip it out. There's a tool that's made for that, but I'm going to try and finagle this. We'll see what happens. Alright, so I was able to cut a little bit and then really just ripping it open. Well, I think you get the idea. That's how I'm going to get this apart. Alright, so I got this all pulled apart. It was relatively easy. Then once you got everything cut out, just kind of pull all the extra thread out, and then we're just going to use the same thread line as a guide. And if it starts fraying, we'll hit it with the lighter again, and yeah, it'll look like that. So let me get that sewed up, and then we'll see how I did. Okay, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I mean, yeah, the stitching's not pretty, but it is strong. I think the last thing to kind of figure out is what I'm going to do with this. I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably just put a couple stitches in here and pin this down. I think ideally I probably should have left this on so I can just fold it up like that. I mean, I suppose I could probably go like this, you know, and put the clip on. I might even do that, but let me put this on the gun here and we'll take a look and see how it looks. Check this out. It's at the proper height that I want it at. And then the only thing we have is this little dangler right here to deal with. I think I'm just going to fold it up and put that other ring on like I said, but I'm super happy. I mean, yeah, I probably should have spent the extra money because I spent like 15 bucks on this, and then the rings themselves were like another 13, so I'm already at 30. Yeah, 35 bucks. I probably could have had one that had these already in there, but I didn't realize that was the case. So if you run into a problem like this where you bought a sling that you like and doesn't have rings on it, try it. I think you can do it. I mean, I kind of sewed, and so can you. It's just needle, thread, pretty simple. I hope you like this. I'm gonna have an awesome time. Deer hunt openers coming up on Friday here, so super excited. Thanks for watching. I hope you get out there in the woods too.